guys, Ultra Fire Knight here, and today I'm joining you with, that's right, I'm joining you with another Pokemon battle. It's become more common now that I've had 3 more in just a short time. Anyways, so, starting off, when I see this guy's team, I'm like, wait, first I should tell you, this is a single battle, not a double battle. So when I first see this guy's team, I'm like, whoa. Okay, so, threat, huge threat, and just being there. Now, I'm actually using a Toxic Stall team, so this battle's kind of long for that reason. So, yeah, let's begin the battle. I start off sending out my I'm Still Cool, and, oh, sorry, I have it on really slow. Let's put it on normal speed. And he sends out his Rhyperior. This battle kind of is hacksy for me, but it doesn't really matter. It just shortens it. So I start off by setting out my Toxic Spikes, which is really useful. And he goes for another Thunder Punch, and I'm like, yep, this guy's gonna go for another Thunder Punch. And I switch right into my Gliscor, and he's immune to it, so yep. And then I go right away for the Substitute, and the reason I switch into Gliscor is so I could get the Toxic Orb up. And then I get up the Substitute just to see if he has Rock Slide or not. And if he didn't, then it would be great, but he does. So I switch out Troll Score and go into my I'm Still Cool. And I knew he was going to set up Stealth Rock, that's why I went into him. And then I go for the Confuse Ray, and this is where it gets a little hacksy. He hits himself twice, but, like, it's not really that big of a deal. I could have got rid of it later with my Politoed. Right now I could have gotten for the Rapid Spin, but I thought just to not be hacksy, I went for the Scald. Just to make it a bit fair. So I kept the Stealth Rocks on my deep side. And then Raichu comes in, and he goes for the Extreme Speed, which is, like, I've never seen Extreme Speed on Raichu, so it's a bit weird to me. But, whatever, I switch into my Troll Score again, seeing that he's probably Scarfed or something, or Banded. And then he goes into his Azumarill, and I set up a Substitute, and he goes for the, Aqua Tail or something. What was it? Yeah, Aqua Tail. And right now, I thought he was Scarfed, so I'm like, yeah, whatever, you can't get that Aqua Jet. And he doesn't actually go for Aqua Jet, and I try to go for the Double Protect. But he doesn't go for Aqua Jet, because I figured out he wasn't Scarfed way later in the battle. And right now, he withdraws his Azumarill to not let the Toxic damage rack up, and he goes into his Klefki. I thought he was going to start off with this, but it doesn't really matter to me. He sets up a light screen thinking that I'm a special Gliscor, but I go for the Earthquake, proving him wrong. Even though there's hardly any special Gliscors in the world, so what were you thinking, bro? What were you thinking? I get rid of his Klefki really quickly, and then the Poison Heal puts me back on 100%, and his Charizard. This thing is, like, just evil. Takes out my Substitute on turn 1, and I try to go for the Ice Fang, because I move after it, so yeah, doesn't do anything, and I switch back into Cloud's Eyes Drizzle. Anyways, if you don't know where that's from, just ignore it. It's a pun, whatever. Never mind. And I switch him back out just to go back to Wishes. Ha! And he goes for the Solar Beam, which I resist. And I go for the Thunder, trying to get that Parahax. I don't get it on the first turn. And he goes for Flamethrower, which does a lot. But I go for another Thunder, and this time I do get the Parahax, I think. No, wait. Next turn, yeah. When he goes for Roost, then I go for another Thunder, and I get the Parahax. Which is great, because that's what I wanted the entire time. And he goes for the Flamethrower, finishing me off, but that doesn't matter to me, because all I wanted to do was get that Parahax. And I go straight into my Spiky Shield, which is my Ferrothorn. And he's paralyzed, so I get up my Stealth Rocks, which is good. Then he goes for a Flamethrower, and woo, I survive. And I go for a layer of Spikes. And then he gets another Parahax, but I know he's going to go for a Roost, so it doesn't really matter. And then I go for another layer of Spikes, and he goes for Roost in this turn. And the rain does die out, so yeah. Then my Spiky Shield sets up a third layer of Spikes, which is great, because I have all my hazards, and he doesn't have a Rapid Spinner. So he goes for Flamethrower, and he knocks out my Spiky Shield, which isn't a big deal, and I go back into Cloud's Eyes Drizzle. And I go for the Surf, and that takes out his Charizard easily. He goes into his Raichu, and I predict this Volt Switch, and I go straight into my Gliscor, because I already knew he was like Scarfed or Banded or Specs or something like that. And woo, it doesn't affect me. And I go straight for the Substitute now. I think, because he has to switch out now, because he's like whatever he is, like he's choiced. And I go straight into my substitute, predicting something else to come out, and that's fine with me. So I can go straight away for the protect, get all the health back, and he goes for the Aqua Tail. So I'm like, okay, good. He doesn't have a priority move that he went for. So I thought he was banded right now, but it turns out he wasn't, and he goes for the Aqua Jet, killing my killing my substitute. Well, my troll scores substitute. And then Raichu comes on out, and I go for the protect, so he'll die from the toxic damage. So now it only leaves one Pokemon left, his Goodra. And Goodra, this was like basically just a cycle of like me just using substitute and protect. So it's just like I use substitute, he uses Ice Beam, I use protect the next turn, and then I get all my HP back, so then I can put on another substitute. That's basically the cycle. And right now he comments that it's a very good name for your troll score. The rain stops, but that's not really a big of a deal. And I'm pretty sure next turn he dies. Yeah. He goes for the Ice Beam, breaking my sub. Not that important, as I said. Poison Heal almost brings me back. Then I go for a Protect, and I'm pretty sure this is the turn he dies, if it's not next turn. Yeah, it was this turn he died. And that was GG. I still had 2 Pokemon left, so like it wasn't like, oh man, the hacks saved me or something. I mean, even without the hacks, I would have still won. Like the para hacks was nice, but it was the whole thing for the para hacks was it was meant to be, because I tried to get with my Jirachi, and the thing with Jirachi is you usually get on the first turn, but I didn't get on the first turn. So I guess it's technically fine, because I did waste 2 turns trying to get the para hacks, which I didn't. Because if I got it before, I could have just switched. Anyways, that's the end of this battle. So thanks for watching, everyone, and bye.